Readers, now that we've heard most of that chapter, we can take a look at our packet work for today. We're starting with a quick write for chapters 49 to 63. Write about a time you have lost someone close to you. So I'm in my packet. I lost someone close to me when my grandpa Ed died. And then I think scholars, right, I've answered that question, but I'm probably going to write just a little bit more about him, right, why he's close to me. So I spent a little bit of time when I was a child living with my grandma and grandpa. So I maybe would write a little sentence about that or something, or, right, even though it's been over 20 years, I still miss him, or something like that. So I've certainly answered the question, but I think I'm going to write a little bit more yet as I continue with mine a little bit later. You can pause and finish writing anything you want right now. If you're ready to move on to vocabulary with me, though, we have 4 new words today. That first word we're looking at is the word shrouded. Right? Shrouded means covered. Right? If you've right, right, the person who walked into the room's head was shrouded, right? Maybe covered by a veil, right? Or like a big hood, right? Something shrouded. We often think of things being shrouded in mystery, like covered in mystery, right? Like you can't see what it is, you don't know what it is. It's shrouded, it's covered, it's unknown. Shrouded. Forage means to hunt and search. I mentioned that in our reading. If you were following along and listening to me read, I mentioned, right, foraging through the cupboard, right, hunting, searching, looking for something to eat. Or if your workspace at home is messy, maybe you're foraging through your desk trying to find the missing paper. Or maybe you've seen someone in your family foraging around, hunting, searching for missing car keys, something like that, right? So forage is hunt and search. It's a verb. Venture means to travel, right? So think about if you go on an adventure, right? You're likely traveling somewhere. So venture means to travel. Right? If you venture into the classroom next door, if you venture into a store you've never gone into before, if you venture into the forest, trying to find the very elusive taco eating gruntworm. I just made that up. But venture is travel. Amplify means to make louder, right? If you've ever heard of an amplifier, right? An amplifier makes sound louder, right? A megaphone is used to amplify, to make your voice louder. If you cup your hands over your mouth and talk like this, right, you amplify your voice. So we have lots of verbs today, right? Amplify, venture, forage, and shrouded can at times be a verb as well, but it can also be an adjective. But maybe look those words over again if you need to, but I am ready to move into our packet work with those words. I hope you want to join me. So scholars, I already started looking at a couple of those and found 2 that I would like us to look at that I think, again, like last lesson, are quite similar. And they have to do with the word forage and venture, right? You can picture, right, traveling to hunt and search for something, you can see how those words might have a connection. So the first one, the explorers decided to blank into the forest. Right? It might sound like forage, right? Hunt and search into the forest. But here's what I want you to think about. Do you hunt and search into the forest? You might hunt and search in the forest. So if it said the explorers decided to forage in the forest, but I feel like the into, this is called a preposition, I feel like that into is making that not the word forage. So I want to jump down to the third one about raccoons. Right? Raccoons blank for food in people's trash cans. Right? If you look at our meanings, right, would you say they're hunting and searching for food? Forage. So forage is actually going to be this third one if you want to jump down there with me right now and fill out that third one is forage. Remember, I'm using the vocabulary words, not their meanings. And then since we used forage here, I would say this one would be venture, right? Travel into the forest. So they're going to venture into the forest. Scholars, you can take care of those last two right now if you want to pause, or you can come back to that a little bit later after we continue. But I'd like us to look for a moment at another part of information. So, we don't need to compare and contrast today, but we are going to soon be doing some comparing and contrasting. So I wanted to talk to you for just a couple minutes about compare and contrast. When you compare things, you are finding how they are alike. So if we wanted to compare Bob and Ivan, right? Comparing them would say how they are alike, right? We could say they're both mammals, right? They both have fur. They both like to eat, right? They both seem to like Julia, right? There's a lot of things we could say that are alike about Ivan and Bob. When you contrast things, you are finding how they are different. So comparing, you're saying how they're alike. Contrasting, you're saying how they are different. So again, if we used Ivan and Bob, right, we could say, well, Ivan is a gorilla. Bob is a dog. Ivan can't leave his domain. Bob is free to come and go, right? So those are ways they are different. So again, comparing is how things are alike. Contrasting is how things are different. So scholars, I read, right, pages 114 to 129 today. You have a few pages to read on your own. Please practice reading aloud. Maybe read that part to someone in your family to practice your reading skills. Back into your packet for a moment. Looking at the second page. I'm going to zoom in a little bit closer, just to kind of talk you through what we're doing on the next part of your assignment. So it says, what promise did Ivan make to Stella before she died? Why does he regret making this promise? So regret means why does he think, oh, I shouldn't have made that promise, right? So when you regret something, you wish you hadn't done it or it hadn't happened, right? If you say something mean to your friend and you regret it, you're sorry that you did it, you wish you hadn't done it, and maybe you think, oh, I was just feeling upset in the moment, but I shouldn't have acted like that or said that. So regrets means you wish it hadn't happened, you hadn't said it. So he makes a promise, but then he thinks, oh, I wish I hadn't done that. Why does he wish he hadn't done that? And then number 4, this is one I want you to especially make sure you're thinking about and being very careful on. I'm looking for 3 sentences that are telling me 3 things that Ivan remembered about his past life, right? 3 sentences. So, right, Ivan remembered that, blah, 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 blah. Ivan also remembered that, blah, 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 blah. A third thing Ivan remembered was blah, 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 right? Or something like that. Then down at number 5, write 3 emotions Ivan feels in this chapter. Write why he feels that way as well. So think of an emotion, right? Happy, sad, angry, excited, scared, joyful. Those are all examples of emotions. So put the name of the emotion, right? I'm thinking already, right? One that I can think of is he's feeling sad. And then why does he feel sad? And you don't have to make it a sentence because I gave you a sentence starter here, right? He feels that way because blah, 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 blah. Because otherwise that's a really small space to try to get a whole sentence in. Then a second one. But scholars, guess what? If you followed along with me in today's lesson and we're listening right now to our packet work, you can put the word skip and a squiggly line through the third one, and you are welcome to focus on 2 emotions today that you notice that Ivan is feeling. That's kind of my way of saying thank you for following through and watching this video, thinking about your packet work with me. So as we close out today's scholars, remember you want to read that little bit on your own, hopefully to someone out loud, practicing your reading skills, and then finish both sides of your packet page, or both pages of your packet work, and be sure to submit photos of those 2 pages. I'm looking for exemplar work that I could once again post as great for your classmates to see what makes exemplary work. Thanks for joining me for another lesson, scholars, and I hope you have a great weekend.